can't believe we're actually on turn 10. Again, the battle's swinging. We'll start with the Prussian end this time. Prussians are pushing forward. The French are getting very scared of how many of them there are. And what they don't realise is how rubbish a lot of them are. So there's quite a bit going off there. The French Imperial Guard have won the race to Place, so they're actually sort of fanning out through there. Their cavalry at the front seems to have been thrown into a bit of disarray when I walked around earlier. So I think they are sort of falling back, and it will now be down to the grognards, the grumblers. They're basically going to be thrown in to hold up the entire Prussian army. Are they going to be able to do it for long enough? Genuinely don't know. As we move further along towards the Prussian right, there's a lot of cavalry massing on the French side. I think they're going to be putting in an attack shortly. We'll have to see what happens there. We then come round to where the Vandeleurs cavalry have been joined by more cavalry, but that's not really moving much. That seems to be sort of holding things up. We've seen a bit of lucky dice rolling from the French player there, and he has inflicted a few losses with musket fire from the village. So that's going okay there. The centre is now massively confused, and I mean massively. There's so much intermingling. We've got squares of both nationalities next to each other. We've got cavalry from both sides going in. We've got the Union Brigade coming up from the rear. You've got the French cavalry coming up the slope en masse. It's very, very confused. I don't quite know where that one's going to go. As we go down, La Haye-Sainte is still in French hands. There is a fairly strong Allied force to its right. That's now getting involved with fighting the French in and around La Haye-Sainte. As we go down, the Guards and the King's German Legion, as we said last turn, were coming off the hill. They've come into contact now with the French. That's going to start getting nasty, I think, this turn and next. But the player has noticed something very interesting. The cavalry that was being drawn off towards the centre of the battlefield has now turned and is directly behind the troops. So I don't know if the plan is now to try and stop the British using that cavalry, or whether it's just a threat to slow them down. The British player is fairly confident he's got enough troops. He's a bit concerned the 1st and 3rd Foot Guards are a bit stuck out now from down off the slope. The others are all on the slope. They've got plenty of time to form square if needed. So they, I think, will be okay. It's worth noting, though, that the threat of the French cavalry has stopped the movement that they were going to throw some of the regiments towards the rather threatened centre. They've had to stop. They've gone from the column that were marching down the road in. They've now turned 90 degrees and formed line. So they are now there protecting the troops that are moving left towards La Haye-Sainte. So let's do our walk around again then. Let's see what we can see this time.
So I moved back into 2 turns, so we're lost 2. We've lost 4 basically.
Still rather inconclusive there, but the French column that broke through the farm building, they have actually now formed a very dangerous position at the end of the Allied line there. The troops that they pushed out are definitely on their way back towards Belgium, up the road. So that's a bit of a salient now. To show you what I mean.
You're up to 2 then. Yeah.
Definitely starting to form a bit of a salient there. And if those two French units manage to push in, well, that could be quite nasty. But there are the cavalry behind to stop them.
I'm still attacking, so I'm still going to push. I'm so disappointed.
So the French cavalry, you can see there, still going up the ridge. It looks like they've hit the Hanoverians and broken them, but there are still troops behind them that will hold them, hopefully. What you can't see here is just behind on the table behind. There is quite a bit of cavalry behind them there. Those troops, remember, are right behind. There's no gap. We just need somewhere for the players to stand. So let's keep on working our way down the line.
I'll wait for you to finish.
Just in front of David there, you can see the Scots Greys and the Enniskillens. They are plugging the gap now, and there are starting to be some nasty gaps there. We can see there the troops that are getting pulled into the centre, heading towards the centre pit. That's looking like it's going to be some nasty fighting going off there. Rifles up there as well, inflicting a fair bit of damage, I would have thought.
Come back for
So we can see there the first and third foot guards moving forward. In fact, they've been joined by more units now. The British are coming off the ridge, leaving the artillery to do the pounding. Definitely a hard pounding day this. Not a lot of threat apparently in front of them when you look at it. However, when we turn round, that's an awful lot of French cavalry getting ready to go forward under the eye of Napoleon himself. And of course there you could still see the guard. They're still in reserve. Napoleon's obviously husbanding them. I don't think there's any plan to bring them forward any time in the near future. I get a feeling that they're going to still be there at the end of today. We'll just have to see what does happen. So there's a cavalry force still left as a reserve as well. But let's just have a look just how much has been pulled off to fight the Prussians. As you can see, that's a substantial part of the army. There's an awful lot of them being pulled out, and the guard moving into Place Noire. They've definitely won the race. Can they deploy in time? Well, because they could get hit in the street while still in column if the cavalry get through. There are French cavalry ahead of them with great little out there routing. So the Prussians are just pushing and pushing and pushing. Yes, they're taking losses, but there's a heck of a lot of them. I've got to be honest. I didn't realise how many Prussians there were.
you can see the figures, but you don't generally realise it until you see them all on a tabletop. And it's also fascinating just how blinkered players are. They are just looking at what is in front of them, particularly as the fighting intensifies. There's going to be opportunities for exploiting things if they can see it. That is going to be the big problem. So, see you back shortly.